Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm really glad that you're here because today I'm going to talk about some of my recent professional work. This is something that's been asked quite often, and I apologize for not showing you. I just, have been carried away with drawing thumbnails and drawing creatures and characters. But rest assured, I will be showing you some of my professional work. Now, if you remember a video that I had posted about 2 years ago, I was talking about my work on the Netflix movie, The Sea Beast. Well, I had the privilege and the exciting opportunity to once again work with Netflix, and this time around it was Love, Death, and Robots. So you can see here on the screen, I have Photoshop open, so I'm just opening up my Photoshop document. So now I can sketch on this all I want. But these were some of my original sketches that I did to help the team out. So what I'll do is I'll go through what I designed, what the episode was, and give you some pointers as to drawing scary things, drawing the devil, which I was responsible for, and try to give you some tips about the industry and how you can get a leg up as far as portfolios go and making your stuff memorable and attractive. So without further ado, let's jump in. So you can see here that the first row is Lucifer, but in a more sophisticated form. So the face right here, that was actually supplied to me. I didn't paint that face. Okay, I wish I did, but I did not. I actually don't know the concept artist that painted it. So if you worked with me, whoever is out there listening on the Netflix team, you did a great job. I was responsible for transforming that face into something truly beastly and truly memorable and evil. Okay, so whenever I sketch evil things, I tend to shrink the eyes because I feel like the larger the eye, the more friendly and cuddly it is. Not all the time. Okay, I want to give that disclaimer out right now. There are creatures that have large eyes and that are terrifying. My boys love watching Huggy Wuggy and those really strange entities that are on YouTube, and they plague these. Don't even get me started on the Craziest Among Us. I love that the little cartoons, by the way, and the creatures that they fight, like Choo Choo Charles and all of them. They have large eyes, but that's an exception. Anyway, besides the point. I'm going on a side rant here. Small eyes, right there. What that does is it signals eeriness, and you cannot see emotion in it. And I like to sink in the eye sockets to not necessarily make the creatures feel emaciated, but give it a little otherworldly / unnatural feel. All right. Now, horns are a big deal. So when I was sketching the head for Lucifer, I'll show you some original pen sketches. Right, I believe it's here. All right, so these were some of my original ballpoint pen sketches, and you can see those were notes. I didn't draw the ones in orange. Those were notes given to me by the team, the art team that I was working with. These were just some other head designs, and you can see that I smoothed out and thickened up the eyebrows. Okay, and this is when we really started to play with the form of the horns. So those of you listening right now, if you're wondering about how to make the horn designs on your creatures memorable, especially dragons and demons and basically any kind of reptilian form or whatever, just know that there's a lot of character and a lot of opportunity to have really awesome character and personality in just the horn shapes. So much so that you can even break a horn off and have it be more memorable than having something super sharp and gnarly and sophisticated, like intertwining with different horn shapes. Just know that those little bits go a long way. If you decide to do things like this, it almost looks like it's attached to an exoskeleton, like a spine almost. And when I was turning these heads in for them to review, they liked the fatness of the head when you view it from the front. Of course, I had to give some scraggly hair up there. The red tips, that was more of just an experiment, just because, hey, in this human form turning into Satan, well, he is Satan, but like turning into his true form, you can see that the tips of the hair / eyebrows were already red. So I wanted to make sure that I brought that design element and I respected that into the head design right there. Okay, and of course I was asked to do a full body sketch, so let's just talk about that real quick. This is more of a quick drawing just to get it out, like that classic devil look. Goat legs, weird looking tail, and I kind of played up on that too. I wanted to make sure that the end of the tail had some character in itself too. I didn't want it to feel like the typical lion tail, and even the body up here. So it's more of an elastic, hardened shell, but you can still see the muscles. And the torso itself is not normal. The length of the legs, the thigh, not normal. The size of the trapezius muscles up here, definitely not normal. So you have to really thicken that up. Now here, these were some of the very first ones that I did. Okay. My personal favorite was the one on the right. Probably because I just got finished playing Doom and I'm like, okay, now I'm in this evil mode and I know I'm going to want to draw Satan, but also some kind of demonic warrior / biomechanical entity. So I don't know what was going to happen, but I was inspired and I just busted out the ballpoint pen and I just started doodling. Okay, and I'll show you a sample in a little bit of how I work with this. Now, I am a traditional artist at heart. Those of you that know me know that probably about 97% of the videos on my YouTube channel are pencil and pen to paper. However, I do sketch digitally. I have to work in Photoshop every day, and I do paint. So if you're sketching along as you're listening to me right now, if you're watching my videos, which I definitely appreciate, thank you so much for doing that, by the way. The same principles apply when it comes to line weight, line quality, scribbling, thumbnail sketching, exploring, letting yourself go. It doesn't matter if you're drawing digitally or traditionally. It needs to happen. Okay, down here, they really liked this head. And I think they kept the majority of it in the episode. But I don't know. Did I mention the name of the episode? It's called For He Can Creep. I think I did. Anyway, just to make sure, so I'm not like talking and 10 minutes later I never mentioned the episode name. How dare I do that? Okay, and then of course got the full body here. All right, so why don't we just bust out with a new document, and then I'll show you exactly how I approach this. So let's take away some of this stark white background. Let's put some gray back here. This is not time-lapsed, by the way. This is me sketching and talking in real time. I just want to show you exactly how I approached it. Now, I drew on paper, but we're going to do this digitally this time. All right, and I'm not going to put the symmetry tool up here because I didn't have it when I was drawing on paper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay down some lines, and this is how I approached the head design. Okay, I wanted to make sure that I had something truly unique. There's so many different possibilities when it comes to headdresses, horn design, skull design, all of that fun stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to keep the eyes rather small. For a second there, I thought I was drawing the Cathoga. Those of you that have seen The Relic, you know what movie that is. Stan Winston Studios hit another home run right out of the park, man. Great creature design from the 90s. All right, and this is how I tackled it. Because they wanted a more traditional approach to the devil. Nothing too outlandish, because it had to be in familiar territory. Okay, but whenever I'm sketching these, I always make sure that My pen is always exploring. Okay. Notice how I said my pen and not my brain. My brain is also exploring too. But I'm never going to settle on one design here. You can see all the lighter lines that are underneath the dark. It's all being compressed and compiled into what could potentially be something awesome later. I'm letting this happen, and this is exactly what I was doing when I was drawing the devil head, or I was just designing Lucifer in general. Okay. All right, there we go. So those of you drawing along with me right now, take a step back and look at your sketch and be honest with yourself. Are you thinking too much about details, or are you really letting yourself explore and not be bombarded by the fear of it not looking good? Okay, because I want you to relax when you're sketching these. Okay, sit up straight, make sure you're not slouching, take a drink of water, make sure that your workspace around you is an attractive working space. Okay? What I mean by that is wherever we work, okay, if we work remotely, even if you're in an office right now and you're on your lunch break and you're watching me draw a demon, ask yourself, is your workspace allowing you to relax, or is it a place that you can't wait to get away from? Okay, you need to set yourself up for success. All right, I believe the horn is a little too big on our right side. That's why I'm messing with this on the left. It's almost too big up there. Look at that. What am I doing? Okay, let's just add another bit there to kind of even it out, thicken it up a little bit. So the temples will be here. So I'm just going to connect it with the horn. That's almost exactly what I did. In some of those sketches, I would, find opportunities to thicken up the horn and just be like, yep, I'm just going to leave it like that. Big bulbous head back there. Okay, so if you're drawing traditionally right now and you're wondering, hey, how does he get those very light lines coupled with those dark lines in there? It's because I start light with everything. I walk my pencil strokes across the surface. And what it looks like is a combination of a hairball and rivers on a topographical map. It's kind of like all rolled into one. Of course, he's furrowing his brow here. But did you see what I just did? I furrowed the brow on top of the scribbles. Now, what's cool about that is that the scribbles act as a shading layer underneath everything. So that's how you should definitely treat it. All right. So I may have gone a little overboard with this part over here, but I'm going to keep it. I'm just going to put some harsher shadow on there. Harsher shadow. I can't even talk tonight. I was mentoring folks, and I've been talking a lot today, so this is the first opportunity because my boys are asleep, and it's about 10:40 at night. I was like, I really want to draw this. Just show everybody how I was designing Satan. There we go. Or a demon for that matter. It doesn't have to be the devil, just a demon. Of course, I would always have to think about my selling point when doing these. The funny thing is when you draw late at night, I think you have the best ideas at night, but having the energy to execute those ideas, that's a completely different conversation. That's why they always say you should take care of your hardest and most creative tasks in the morning when your brain is firing on all cylinders versus waiting until late in the day. So should be taking my own advice here, shouldn't I? All right. Hey, let me know if you're having fun with this, if you're having fun watching me doodle this. This is exactly how I was, approaching it. The other thing is this goes along with any kind of other client too. Okay, this is exactly how I would approach it. Now, here's where I would actually use the eraser because the that eye is not right. So let's say you do this, okay? Let's turn this into a teaching moment. There we go, with the eye completely destroyed. Screw that horn. Let's just take that all out. It's just not working. There. Remember, I didn't use a symmetry tool because the head is slightly tilted, so that wouldn't work. But what I am going to do is I'm going to check that tilt out. Okay, I'm going to try to remain 90 degrees from splitting this head in half. Okay, so there's the tip of the horn over there. There's the center of the eye right there. Okay, and then the nose, I'm going to have to bring that nostril up a little bit. Ah, looks better already. See, that's what I didn't do before. Okay, there's the middle. Widen it out a little bit. Ah, yes. Now it's going to look a little weird at first because there's no real wrinkles and everything beyond it. But we're going to put those in and we're going to build off of that. Just make sure that we honor the perspective that we drew it in. There we go. That looks better already. Thicken that bottom jaw up and bingo. All right. See, guys, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be able to catch your own mistakes. Easier said than done. I get it. Little piece of advice for aspiring concept artists. Don't, under any circumstance, just post stuff online and hope for the best. Get a professional to look at your work. Because, what you put out in public is their first impression, what they're going to see. So, delayed gratification goes a long way. All right, there we go. So that actually can be the cheekbones right here. And I think I'm going to shade in just a little bit of the inner mouth. If I have to do that with the mouth, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken the teeth so they sit and stand out right above it. There we go. See how I darkened the gum line right here, which brought out the tiny little teeth facing us. All right. So now what I can do is I can just scribble in. Ooh, yeah. Got a big evil thing right here. This is exactly how I tackle sketching these heads. And these heads, it's not necessarily just for Love, Death, and Robots and what I did for this episode, but it's with any kind of sketch or thumbnail or portrait for that matter. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's just recap what I've been talking about here with the Love, Death, and Robots design. This kind of layout, this is something that I would send a client. Note-taking, making sure that, not everything has to be handwritten. You want to type it out. You want it to look good. I had to put the logo down there, Love, Death, and Robots logo for Netflix. Just make sure that when you're presenting, you're answering the questions that you think would be asked of you and about the design. Just make sure that you want to eliminate stress, eliminate friction, and it goes a long way. So if you guys want me to, comment below, let me know if you want to see more of my professional work. I would love to. Let me know what you think of the episode of For He Can Creep and season 4 of Love, Death, and Robots. If hopefully you liked this episode. I loved working on it. I really appreciate everybody's feedback and support. Let me know if you love, Death, and Robots and you want to see more of it. So some things that I want to mention before we sign off here is I do mentor people. So if you feel like you're struggling, if you feel like you're not getting better at art, just let me know. Drop me a line at bobbyrebholz@gmail.com. You can email me there. Join our Discord. You can DM me through there if you feel more comfortable. Okay, and I teach creature design for film and games at the Computer Graphics Master Academy. Been teaching that for about 10 years. So check the links in the description below for that one. Summer term is happening right this second, so obviously it's a little too late to sign up for that. However, we are accepting early signups for our fall term, which will be in October. And people are already signing up. We have 20 seats. Okay, so that's the max number of seats, so they do fill up. Make sure you do it. Again, I want to take the time and thank all of you for watching me doodle, listening to me about doing work for Netflix, and hopefully this inspired you to pick up your pencil. Look down at your drawings right now and ask yourself, do you like it? And if you don't like it, it's okay. You don't have to like it. All right, it's part of the process. Some art you're going to like that you do, some not. All right, folks. Thanks again, and I will see you all later. Peace out.